Yeah, money's never been cheaper. Let's get the bids rolling.
Hey, it's Walter here, and you're at the Think Profit podcast, where we're going to help you develop a rock-solid trading confidence and avoid the potentially endless cycle of system switching. Right, Hugh?
That's right. We're going to help you develop a wealth mindset, develop a trading strategy that fits your core personality, and help you overcome the obstacles that stop over 90% of traders.
All right, Hugh, sounds good. You ready to go?
Yeah, let's do this. Hey, Walter, I know we talk about psychology here a lot, but what do you think is going to be the big investments for the next 5, maybe 10 years? What do you see as things are going to trend up or trend down or whatever?
That's interesting. I'm going to be contrarian and say that I think the US dollar is going to appreciate from 2021 to 2023.
Okay.
So over the next 3 years, I think the US dollar is going to go up in value, believe it or not. I also think that gold is probably going to go down or stay about where it is, which is also probably contrarian. A lot of people are bullish on gold.
Yeah.
I think that XRP or Ripple will go up because I think that there will be a world financial system based on blockchain, and I think Ripple is the most likely candidate for that. So I think that'll go up in value because there'll be a lot of demand for it. Because right now, like if you send money, a lot of people may not know this from trading world today because it's so easy to fund your account. It used to be back in the day when you funded a trading account, you'd have to go into the bank, you'd fill out this long form, and you would have to wire the money from your account to the broker's bank account, right? And make sure that you had all your numbers correct so they, accredited your account and all that, right? Because your money's like in a pooled account, right, at the brokerage. What I didn't know then, though, is that was basically like an SMS for banks. So they were sending text messages.
That's why it never works the first time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It never worked. Yeah. So anyway, with blockchain, it'll be a lot safer. It'll be instant and all that stuff. You don't have to wait for the text message and all that. So I think it's already headed that way. You can see it. The only real question is where. So I would say if there's 3 things I would say. Oh, and I should mention the difference between gold in your hand, silver in your hand, and buying paper gold, paper silver. So I think that physical gold and physical silver may actually go up in value, but there's kind of divergent markets now. And I think the physical gold market is different from the, buying it on a chart sort of thing. So that's important too, to note. So I think that gold's going to be choppy. I think that Ripple will probably go up quite a bit in value in the next 5 years. And I think the US dollar is probably going to go up as well. And I know everyone's, called the death of the dollar now, but I think it's probably going to go up between now and 2023. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. What
that
about
makes sense,
you? What
I think they're really printing right now, right? So in the next 1 or 2, 3 years, it's still going to go up along with the stock market, probably.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think crypto is a good one, especially Bitcoin. I think it's a network that's really it's almost impossible to hack at this point. So I think a lot of people are going to use that as a store of value. And then I think a really underrated crypto, and not underrated, but an underrated asset or a category of crypto is going to be like the privacy coins. So people I think are going to get more into like how to transact privately. Yeah, I agree with you. I think gold and silver are still going to be controlled. So they're just going to go sideways, even though they should be worth more. And then I think commodities are going to be a big one, especially like food stuff. I think those are going to start increasing in price because there's going to be some sort shortages around the world. So could be something to watch out for. Obviously not advice. We're not giving advice here, but just some opinions.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think you're right about, I think specifically water is a big one. So in those countries like the US and Australia, where you can actually buy rights to water, I think that's big. In fact, I have a friend who trades that. Like that's his job. He trades in the water rights stuff and the water market. And it's very illiquid, in Australia. It's not a very big market, but yeah, I think water is the key. I think water is one of those commodities that's going to be a big deal. I think you're absolutely right about that.
Hey there, I hope you're finding this episode useful. I just wanted to let you know that Walter and I give away something valuable every month that helps traders improve their skills. You can enter to win by simply leaving an iTunes review and leaving a comment on our YouTube videos. At the end of each month, we'll look at the comments and reviews from the month, and we'll pick a winner at random. Each comment and each review counts for 1 entry during the month that it's submitted. So if you're interested in that, be sure to enter after this podcast is over. All right, back to the episode.
I know we mentioned the stock market earlier. I do think that the stock market, probably stock markets, many like UK, Germany, Australia, US, I think they're probably, by the end of this year, by the end of 2021, I think they're probably going to start to roll over. That's my belief. And that by 2023, the highs will have been obvious. Like, I think it's going to roll over. So I think there's a little bit of a, like I was saying, that the US dollar is going to go up in value. I think with that, the stocks will go down. So right now what we see is US dollar values, the purchasing power of US dollars is down. So the stocks have to go up to stay the same, right? Right. I mean, it's kind of like, so I think the opposite might happen, where if the US dollar becomes more valuable, the stock prices might actually go down, even though like relative to the US dollar, you might argue that they're the same or maybe a little bit less in value. But so I don't know. I just think my sense is that it's starting to roll over. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think the inflation, like the interest rates, are going to be key. I think that's the important thing. And as currency traders, we should always be looking at those anyways. Yeah. Like interest rates are really one of the most important things for the currencies that you're trading. But certainly, I think that may be kind of the first domino to fall. And then we start to see these sorts of things unravel. We'll see, though. It's going to be kind of fun to see where are the cryptos, where are the stocks, where does the money flow when money starts to get more expensive? Because when you think about it, anyone who's alive today has never seen money this cheap. It is so cheap to get money. In fact, that's what they say here in Australia at the auctions for property. Yeah. The auctioneer will get up there. It's really big. It's really like common for Australian properties to sell by auction. They don't all, but a lot of them do, much more so than in the US or in England, right? And so they'll say things like, money's never been cheaper. Let's get the bids rolling, And so I think so though this money has been so cheap, and so where's it been flowing? It's been flowing into stocks and artwork and cryptos and, classic cars and all these places. And so then when it starts to get more expensive, what happens in property, of course, where does it move from there? Where's it going to start flowing? You remember years ago when we had the obvious carry trade, where money was flowing from Japan, where it was cheap, to London, where it was relatively expensive. Yeah. And you always had this idea of money moving to different geographic locations. Well, now it's cheap everywhere. Yeah. So people are just sinking it into what they think is going to be good, which is cryptos, property, shares. I would argue even the artwork and even like trading cards have been inflated in value because of this. You know what I mean?
And those things like NFTs, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, like when my parents bought their house, I think the interest rates were like 17% or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It is super cheap compared to that, right?
Yeah, people don't know. Like people, if you're like 30 years old, you have no idea about what happened in the 70s. You have no idea. Yeah. Like I had mentors who lost everything in the 70s. These are like older, getting up there in years, and they tell me stories about the 70s. Like it was crazy, man. Like I lost all my properties. I lost 3 businesses. Like you know what I mean? It's just. I guess with the virus and everything, I guess we kind of had a taste of that in a way. It's different to like seeing like all these cars lining up to get fuel, and all the loans you get are like 20%, 19%, and all that stuff. So it's a different sort of a story, and everyone's out of work too. That was the 70s, and people forget about that.
So read up on your history, people.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
That's the lesson. Thanks.
All information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not trading or investment advice.